I don't know what's gonna happen. The lines are blurred between cake and candy at this point. What's a tiny take on a holiday classic I can give as gifts this year? Betty Crocker's answer: jeweled fruitcake miniatures. I'm Melinda and I'm cooking my way through Betty Crocker's 1971 recipe card library. Today we are making jeweled fruitcake miniatures, which is from section L, Gifts from Your Kitchen, card number 4. I'm excited to give this card a try. I've always been a little wary of making a fruitcake on this channel. I know it's kind of a mid-century classic, but it always was really intimidating to me because my understanding with fruitcake is you have to like soak it in rum for like weeks or months. Like that's way too complicated. So when I found this card, which is for kind of mini fruitcakes that are ready immediately, I was like, let's give that a try. You make them basically in little mini muffin cups, but all the classic ingredients of a fruitcake. You got some dried fruit, some nuts, some candied fruit, other cake accoutrement. So it should be pretty simple. I'm excited to give these a try. All right, let's meet the team. So I've got some dried apricots, some dates, some Brazil nuts, which I didn't know you could buy on their own. I thought they just came in a mixed nut combo, but apparently some people just like Brazil nuts as their own item, so we got those. Then here's where things get a little messy. It calls for drained red and green maraschino cherries. I could not find green maraschino cherries in like a jar with liquid, but I did find them in kind of, you know, candied form. And then I also have red candied maraschino cherries, so I think we'll get there. That's close enough. Similarly, it calls for red and green candied pineapple. Could not find that anywhere, but I do have candied pineapple that's not artificially colored. So we're just gonna add that to the mix too, and you know, it is what it is. We found what we found, and we're gonna make some delicious fruitcakes with them. It's fruit, it's going in a cake. That's all you need, right? So let's get all this stuff cut up and then we will assemble. All right, we got all our ingredients ready to go. I will say the ratio of cake ingredient to fruit ingredient is a bit disturbing to me because, you know, it's more other than cake. But I think that's the point, right? When you look at these little like cups, they're really filled with stuff. And I think that's why they're called jeweled fruitcake miniatures, is that like the fruit pieces are really like studding the cake, like it's jeweled, you know? So I'm not that worried, but it is a bit odd. I'm also making half a recipe, so that might contribute as well. We'll see how it goes, we'll see how it goes. You know, here's the other interesting thing. She just says, mix all ingredients thoroughly, which if I were doing this, I would like mix the wet and then the dry. I don't know. Where do I begin? Let's mix the wet and then the dry, I guess. So we're gonna start with the sugar. Then I'm gonna add the vanilla and an egg. Let's get that going to start. Now I'm gonna take our salt and our baking powder, put it into our flour. Let's just mix that up a little bit. Get that combined. I'm just using my baking knowledge at this point. I'm clearly an expert. And we'll incorporate the dry into the wet. There's no water or anything? Curiouser and curiouser. Now, we'll mix in all of our stuff. So I have the dates and the nuts. I'm still convinced that that's kind of a cake consistency, okay. And then I have our 2 maraschino cherries, our pineapple, and our apricot. Now we're just gonna mix this. As someone who's never made fruitcake before, I don't know if this is right. I don't know if this is too much fruit and not enough cake. I think it could be okay. We'll see, we'll see. Okay, so Betty says to spoon about a tablespoon of batter into each cup. So I have these kind of paper, she calls them nut cups or miniature baking cups. which I feel like I've gotten candies that come in this little wrapper, right? And here's another thing I find curious. You don't need to bake these in like a mini muffin tin that will like hold the sides of the cup. Like she thinks that these are gonna kind of hold their own inside the baking cups, which I think means that maybe our mixture density is correct because it's not really like a batter that's gonna like flop out of the cup. She expects it to be kind of solid enough that you can like just like scoop it into a cup and it's fine. So maybe we're good. Maybe everything's fine. Let me just give this a try. I don't know what's gonna happen. The lines are blurred between cake and candy at this point. All right, I guess I'm just gonna keep filling these cups. Okay, so I have all of my little mini cups filled with the fruitcake batter. And now they are gonna go in a 325-degree oven for about 25 minutes, and then we'll see what happens. Curious how the US Postal Service took the fruitcake from ancient energy bar to holiday classic? Let's go back to the beginning. The original fruitcake, a mash of barley, honey, wine, and dried fruit, started in the Roman times as a snack to sustain soldiers in battle. Then in the Middle Ages, dried fruits became more widely available and fruit-studded breads entered Western European culture as kind of a special occasion dessert with indulgent ingredients. So then fruitcakes came to America with the European colonists. This was at the same time that cheap sugar arrived from the Caribbean. So candying fruit to preserve it became very commonplace, and the modern fruitcake was an easy way to use all that fruit up. By the 19th century, the typical recipe was full of citrus peel, pineapples, plums, dates, pears, and cherries, like our recipe today. At the turn of the 20th century, a series of laws were passed allowing for the expansion of the post office, which now promised to reach every address in the country, thus increasing the mail order system nationwide. An onslaught of mass-produced fruitcakes shipped in colorful tins became a holiday gift that's easy to ship to loved ones all over America, making it a ubiquitous part of Christmas. So I'm excited to hand out our miniature fruitcakes this holiday season. All right, it's time to taste our fruitcakes. I'm excited. They look pretty good. They are very dense and hard, but I think that that is kind of typical for a fruitcake. As I predicted, it's more fruit than cake, but we'll see what happens here, okay? I just hope I don't hurt my teeth while tasting this. Okay, let's give it a go. That's chewy and fruity. Oh wow, the Brazil nut really is coming in there now. Okay, I really had to work through each piece of fruit individually. It's like taking a handful of really chewy fruit and putting it in your mouth all at the same time. Okay, I liked it. I think I liked it. I like the nuts. I liked the fruit. There is a bread consistency somewhere in the mix. I wasn't expecting that. But, you know, the overpowering flavor is just sweet. I think I really got a bite with a lot of candied maraschino cherry, so that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get sugar. But yeah, these are kind of fun. They're like little chewy, very chewy little fruitcake things. Okay. I will say this was a lot easier than I think making a real fruitcake would be. So it's really just mixing a few ingredients together, popping them in these little cups, put them in the oven, done. So I think if you're looking for the taste of fruitcake, but a little bit of a simpler version, this definitely works. But I feel like fruitcake is just weird. It's weird to eat that much dried fruit covered in batter. It was just a little bizarre. But otherwise, I thought, you know, pretty easy. It is kind of a little sweet treat. So if you're into fruitcake, give this a try. If you're not, maybe don't. Maybe I'm not. So I think I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5 red spoons. Okay, back in the box. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, I've made candy gifts before, so check out this video, Gifts from Your Kitchen, next. Be sure to give this one a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and until next time, happy homemaking.